Please join me in welcoming Dr. Warren Buckleitner.
Thank you. It's so good to be back, and 365 days later, it's like Groundhog Day in some regards, and no one's gotten any older. So it's great. I have a great, fun talk that I'm going to give you, and I've been working on this for quite a while, and hoping that you can add to it at the end, because it's I've been struggling and working and just chewing on what multi-touch means for young children. What specifically is it? This includes redesigning a book twice now and moving the chapters around, and it hasn't fit. But I think I've started to come onto something, and I'd like to try it out on you guys, and I can't think of a better audience to try it out on. I call it magic because that's kind of what I am. I'm a magic hunter. I noticed back when I was in the high school preschool in Ypsilanti, when we had an Apple IIe, that there was something about this that children really seemed to like, or it engaged them. And I wanted to start to understand what was this power. And initially I wanted to be a designer and design this stuff, and I realized there's all these people trying to do this. So I, at that point, decided I'll just try to study this. And I've been studying, that started a journey that began back when floppy disks actually flopped. For the younger people here, has anyone ever seen one of these? This is an app. It's called Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego, and you used to put it in. And don't touch right there, you'll ruin the app. That'll make the app not work anymore. And oh, by the way, this isn't 99 cents. It's not even $4.99. That'd be a lot, right? $4.99. That's a big app, right? This is $39.99. So it's just amazing, isn't it, that the sales tax on what we paid for this is what equals what you can get the same thing for. So, so it's been a long time, and it's great to be in presence of so many people. And you know, we're not old yet. We're just getting started. So to understand what this means for kids, it's fascinating. So the concept of affordances is a word in this tiny print here. I found this on Don Norman's site. I think of it as a pipeline. That all of these new pipelines have started to open up for children. And it's not just multi-touch, it's on the Connect, for example. When the Connect came out, and I saw, back up another 3 years, when Nintendo launched the Wii. And the first word that came to my mind was kinesthetic computing. Because now you can interact with pixels and digital media with gross motor. And I'd never seen anything like that before. And before that, you had to have a vinyl mat and do Dance Dance Revolution or something like that. And so all of a sudden, a new pipeline opened up, and every flight simulator that used to use left and right to control the plane became obsolete. You could hear all of this obsolete stuff just getting sucked out of the video game conference E3. And then when Steve Jobs held up the first iPad, in that millisecond, so many things became obsolete, and so many people's work just became useless or irrelevant in that very second. Because now, to drive a car, every driving sim, for example, now you can tilt, and accelerometers do the work that used to be an abstract process where you push left and push right. So what an incredible pipeline that just was opened up. What does this mean for a 2-year-old or 3-year-old or 4-year-old? And how can we leverage this for their benefit? So that's the question that's been guiding me. And so just about me, I'm one of 6 kids, which explains a lot. I was beaten up for the first day of my life until I was 18. And I love my brothers and sisters dearly now, and have a bachelor's degree, and was a real teacher. And yes, I actually did make snacks at some point. And the way I get all these apps is I write for Children's Technology Review, which is my publication, as well as for places like the New York Times and Scholastic Parent Child. And everybody wants to get into those. so I get to see the apps. The other thing that I've been doing is the coordinator for for one prize, the Bologna Ragazzi Digital Prize, translation, good pasta. So I get to be on the 50-yard line of a lot of really cool stuff and just watch it go by. I see, and that's where this dust or magic idea came. It came from a haiku. An idea can turn from dust to magic depending on the talent that rubs against it. And nowhere has this been more real than in interactive media. You can get one or two geniuses in a garage who are making brilliant stuff on par with the best stuff coming out of big publishers. And so it's been a really cool space to be in. I am also thrilled, and I want to congratulate Chip for spearheading with Roberta the NAEYC position statement. That's a landmark achievement. It has taken the NAEYC organization and taken it from followers into leaders. And now it's up to the NAEYC and the interest group and so on to lead us in the right direction. So it's a great opportunity, and make sure you read that, if for nothing else, for the bibliography. The references in there, it's up to date, it's up to the last month, and you can learn a great deal. So Children's Technology Review is my publication, and a year ago I wrote about the multi-touch preschool. And so I just did this workshop where I thought up this in Minot, North Dakota. So if you want to go to children'stech.com and you can sign on using the word Minot, and you can get in for free. And people are saying, how long? And then until we feel like making it unfree. And if you forget, it's why not, my not. That's what they say up there. And so I'm working with a teacher in Flemington who was actually my daughter's kindergarten teacher. He's a veteran kindergarten teacher, and I've been giving him a copy of my iPad. So every app that I download, he gets. And he's been trying it in his kindergarten. And so I'm starting to, we started a division of Children's Technology Review, and I'm telling you, you're the first to hear this, called Multi-Touch Learning. And the mission is to provide quality in service. So we feel very strongly about helping teachers tap into this power. Just to note that inclusion, I'm going to mention some apps, a lot of apps. It doesn't mean there's no endorsement. Test. Can anyone name what this is? It's like an iPad, isn't it? In what year? You get a bonus point if you can say what year this sketch was made. 1946. No, you said 86. I'm sorry. That is the Dynabook. That's Alan Kay's Dynabook, and he sketched that in a popular computing article. Just Google Dynabook Alan Kay, and you can download his original paper. That's the URL if you want to try that. And the last sentence of that paper, if you dig, and Alan is a very abstract kind of guy, so it's interesting, are the words, "Let's just do it." And that was a long time before Nike got a hold of that. So the concept of the iPad, the tablet, it isn't just about Apple. It's that Apple and the team at Apple was the first to put all of these affordances or attributes into one device. And a lot of people tried it, but nobody was able to do it as elegantly as Apple did it. And that's why all the glowing apples are in this room. It's not that we work for Apple or anything about it. This is the reason we're excited about this. It's not because of its Apple. And the pillars of the iPad are the multi-touch screen. Now a child can interact with 11 simultaneous touches at once. That's 10 fingers and one toe or an elbow. It also means a group of kids can all have a tea party together at the same time. And that's really exciting. It has 10-hour batteries. That can get you through a school day or a school week in most cases. You charge it over the weekend. That right there is a major piece. It has the internet. So if you have the browser active, anything that's online you can get to in an instant. You can get Google Images on an iPad or Google Earth You can show a child where they are, how far they are from anything, show them a map of their backyard from a satellite, or get to anything that's in Wikipedia. Not to mention YouTube and all of that. So this single device that alone is huge. It has approximately, and I don't know the right number because I lost count, but I did count last year, it was about 8,000 children's apps. Now, I reviewed software for 17 years before I reviewed the number of apps that have been developed in the last 12 months. And that's kind of discouraging, isn't it? And there's no way I can, excuse me. I just got to download this app real fast. While I've been talking, 5 apps have come into my email box. I need help. I need therapy. Seriously, it's incredible the amount of content that's coming, and some of it's brilliant. So that's the good news. Clear stereo speakers cannot be underestimated. We can give the best of the world, the best sounds of the world, the best art. Now we have retinal display, whatever that means, but it's good and it's clear. And I can put it in front of a bored child. And we can't ignore that. It has the gyros, the accelerometers, so it knows what direction it is, it knows which way is north and south. It has an olophobic screen. Now, what the heck does that mean? That's the first word of the day. It's more important than you think. It means that the oil would rather stick, in the peanut butter and the yogurt, would rather stick to your finger rather than the glass. It was developed by 3M. And it's actually, the surface of an iPad is plastic, it's not glass. And so not only is it really hard, it's like an acrylic, but you can wipe it with this. So one of the things I always tell teachers is don't put a cover on the iPad. You're taking away what's really brilliant about it, and that's that slippery feel. And that's so important to a young child. Just let them interact as closely as possible with the pixels. Don't let anything, even a screen cover, get in between the child, the ideas in the screen, and the interest of the child. It has 2 cameras for Skyping with anybody and or a picture of anything you want to show. And also is about $500. What's fascinating is to go back to Alan Kay's paper back in the 70s, and that's the price he said it had to be, $500. Ann McCormick, who started the Learning Company, also known as the Zumbinis and Rita Rabbit and so on, said that the iPad is the computer we always wanted. So folks, we have it now. We have the horse. And it's not just coming from Apple now. There are 5 specific Android tablets for kids that were launched within the last 2 months. And so the market is starting to come, and more people are porting over to Android. So competition is there. The free market's doing its job. It's all good news. So we've got our horse. Now we need to ride it. So let's look at these 10 affordances. And this is arranged sort of like a top 10 list. There's the 10 tell me more. Hey, I'm in the screen. Hey, I need a hint. That would also be known as bringing a more capable other to the experience. And don't worry about getting this, because I'm going to zoom into these more specifically. Yeah?
Can you present here? Some of us can't see from this angle.
Thanks for bringing that to, is it because I'm standing in the wrong thing? Yes. I'm actually blocking. Okay, so move there. Is that better?
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me know. I want to drive a bulldozer. I want to know that I'm learning. I'm bored. I just want to do something, anything. I just want to shoot birds in the air and knock down blocks for hours. I just want to do that. Tell me a story. Let me tell the story. I want to make a mess. All right? And so what I did was I went through about 250 of the more interesting apps released in the last year, and that's how I came up with these. I asked, what affordance do these apps enable that never existed before? And I started to arrange them that way. And that's where these came from. So let's take a closer look at these. Tell me more, also known as discovery enhancement. So I just looked at, here's 3 examples. So let's have a look at one of these. Let's start out with X-ray. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to swipe up. I just love this because I can find anything and just get to it fast. So this is from Touch Press, one of the pioneers of this whole idea. And so I want to see that hat. That's cool. Whoa, what's that? So if I drag over, I get the X-ray. Now there's a lot of alphabet books out there, but not too many that show you how things work. Specifically, something complicated, like a V8 engine. Oh, I want to know more about that. How about 3D? How about pinching, pulling? How about spinning while I move? So I'm driving the whole thing. So I can explain the concept of a camshaft. You never know when you're going to need to explain a camshaft. Trust me on that. Right? All right. Here's another one. I know Chip and I are equally excited by this one. That's called X-ray. Now I'm going to show you, if you just do a search on ABC, ABC Go, ABC Food, ABC Music, ABC Play, there are all these. Which should we look at? Are you guys hungry? All right, so let's look at food. Now this iPad, thanks to the Hilton, is Peapod Labs, based in Chicago.
Little Explorers, ABC Food.
We all know about ABC books. There are thousands. So I want to know more about the letter H.
H, hamburger.
Now, folks, I don't know about you, but that's a hamburger.
H, honey.
Whoa, honey, that's great. What's that?
Can you pour the honey?
Oh, yes. I'm liking this. Now, down here, there's the word honey. That's also another sort of different pipeline, different route to get into the word N. So what kind of food is N?
N, nectarine.
Nectarine, of course.
Oh, onion. Oh, orange.
Now that's some good stuff. And that's the kind of quality on a retinal display, which my iPad 3, whatever it's called, I think arrives like today or tomorrow. And I'm not going to have it. So I want to look at these graphics on that just to see how they look. And I think that's the quality that we should put. And we should not compromise. We should fight for quality. Only the best for the young, because that's the next generation. So that's what we need to be sticklers for. Look at this. I just jumped back to Keynote. So I'm confident enough to say I'm running this whole thing off of my iPad, this presentation. What else? Oh, La Forêt. We've got to do that. La Forêt. It's also known as the forest. Yes?
In the App Store, X-ray is actually X is for X-ray.
Thank you. But you're not supposed to be buying stuff right now. You're all supposed to be listening to me. You're not supposed to be in there. Get off of that internet. No, I appreciate the forêt. This is a Galamarginese.
Touche la feuille pour commencer.
I don't know what that just said, but let's learn about the
Toutes les forêts sont
forest.
différentes.
At this point, I can
Forêts que
tilt
tu veux découvrir.
my screen,
Certaines
kind of look
comprennent
around.
principalement des arbres. Dans le frêne, le charme grandit très lentement. Son Dans la forêt de résineux, le sapin pectiné,
I think that was
c'est
conifer.
le printemps. Fait
Check this
apparaître
out.
la saison suivante en frottant les feuilles. Les forêts qui suivent le cycle des saisons se transforment. Les feuilles et les branches des arbres poussent.
I like to call it a virtual
C'est l'été.
manipulative. So the
La
idea that
forêt
your
est
finger
trop
is put into the
toute verte.
concept.
C'est l'automne. Les arbres feuillus changent de couleur.
It's so pretty.
C'est l'hiver.
This is almost as pretty as Baby Einstein. Almost.
Les animaux vivent dans la forêt.
And it's going to take you up to the bugs.
Dans les feuilles, le scarabée nasicorne.
Ooh, Scarabe Nasacorn.
La cicindelle des bois.
It almost, once
Les
you,
fleurs des forêts sont
you almost want to be French. How cool is that? So, keynote. Back to keynote. Okay. Tell me more. Isn't? Let's go on. So that's the tell me more. Let's go and hey, I'm in the screen. Now we saw the augmented reality in the last session of what was it called? Star Walk, right? So let's talk about augmented reality because it's really fascinating, or this idea of kinesthetic computing. Here are some titles if you want to take a picture of this screen. I think we're going to put this up, but Color Collector from Zinc Row is one of the first. And the idea that you actually go around and ask kids to collect colors from their environment. Foam Fighter is another one. Down at the bottom, PBS Lunch Rush, where you actually go onto a website, download flashcards, and print them out, kind of like flashcards. They're not flashcards, just the answers. Lay them around the table, and then you go with your iPad and you shine the camera over. It auto-recognizes the answer, and that's how you get the answer that way. Another one is Lego Life of George, where you actually build Lego structures, lay it on that grid right here, and your camera grades you on how accurately you copied the model, which is really cool. Let's watch it.
Lets me unlock the Corsair's missions. So now each plane has its own set of 16 missions, and those 16 missions are all specific to that plane. So the next thing I'm going to do is you've got a little stencil outline up here. You don't have to get it exact, just get it close.
Very clever.
Once you get it lined up, then I'm going to start flying around my bedroom. And just like, this is my dream come true when I was a kid, you know, just to fly around. I don't have to make the machine gun sounds anymore. And I've got my toy little plane going.
But the machine gun, that's fun.
See, and then you can shoot this guy over. No, you see the enemies coming in? Let's find some enemy planes to shoot down. That'll be more fun. When we're done,
So it's called Foam Fighters, and it's coming out, I think, this month or next month. My point is not to say, again, this is not an endorsement. I'm hoping that to show that to this kind of audience, you'll start to click and say, hey, I could use that on a field trip. Or there's other applications, right? If you can actually suction cup a little plane in front, and you're looking down the wings, and you see this lecture hall right here, that's augmented reality. It was started a long time ago by other places, but it's definitely, isn't that cool? That's an affordance. That's an affordance. So we jump back to Keynote, and we move on along to our affordances. I need a hint. And this is a whole idea of a more capable other inside the device. And it's an idea that's been, you know, it's not a new idea, but with multi-touch, I'm starting to see some very exciting applications of this. For example, I want to show you Planes by Byron Barton. It's a new title, came out a few days ago from Motion House Media, just for reading. Bugs and Buttons is another one you need to look at in noodle words. Let's see how many I can get through. So we're going to go to Planes. Ocean House Media has sort of got they're the state of the art on this technique of labeling. And labeling is something that when I was teaching preschool, we did all the time. We just did talk about what a child was doing to help them acquire language. So we'd say, you're using blocks right now, or you're using other things. That's kind of nice of it. Because sound is really important. But the point is that when I hear this, when I touch things, I hear it instantly.
Cloud, 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 sky, the, in.
This is
Airplanes are flying.
all the Dr. Seuss books that Ocean House does, you're probably familiar with. Well, this is one of their first non-Dr. Seuss titles.
People, with, people. Jet plane, people, people.
And that's exactly how you test an app.
This jet plane. Here is a seaplane landing on water.
One of the things the jurors in the Bologna Ragazzi Prize are looking for are narrative-driven experiences that are quality. And so if you're in the business of delivering stories to kids, we want to know who the author is and how good they are as a storyteller without the technology. And so we're excited when we see really quality children's literature coming into the digital side. And we welcome that with open arms. And that's an example of that. Oh my gosh, Noodle Words. We got to show that. Thanks, Chip. So many apps, so little time. But you guys got to see this because it's just so important. And you know what? I've been a teacher. I know that it's like you get dressed for battle every day. It's really a hard job. And you need every advantage. And when you can have an iPod Touch, it's such a little thing in your pocket, and you can hand a kid who's having a bad day this, that's good to have. That gives you an advantage. Let me show you why. It just gives you this bunch. There's only 18 words in this. I just touch the box, and they pop out. And at any point, I touch it, and it becomes a little toy. And these guys are the color commentary. And it wants to be touched again. Would you not touch that at this point? We're going to see what happens. Would you like to be the last one? So that's what you do, right? You find a kid who's having a really bad day and say, come up and do the last pump. And it'll make you feel powerful. This is called Noodle Words, two words. Let's do it again. No, I'm just joking. I gotta hide. It's too scary. Oh. Ah! So that's called Noodle Words. And then another one that you got to see is, let's say you're having a bad day. Well, why don't you hand a kid a bunch of bugs, a nice bunch of bugs. That'll get their interest. That's why I say we need this stuff. You got your interest now? So let's do some Common Core standards, shall we? Again, active learning. Boom, 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 boom. It's gonna get harder. Ah! Yikes! Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. So that's that one. And you're saying, what goodness, what learning is going on there? What's the support of the curriculum? Trust me, this is amazing, and it's leveled. And how much does it cost? Has anyone looked it up? Thank you for not being on the internet right now and paying good attention. No, I'm just joking. $3. I've got a leveled set that's equivalent of a whole shelf of math games with bugs. I love it. Okay? This is why we got into this business, right here. It just, finally, we've got the vehicle. I want to play with a real person. How am I doing on time?
25 minutes.
Okay, good. I want to play with a real person. I want to play with strangers. Flat Stanley. Did you know there's a Flat Stanley app? Yeah, there is, and you're going to see it right now. I just am so excited because I'm online. So I go to the map. This is what I'm trying to get to. Here are all the Flat Stanleys. Oh, I can do that. No, can't do that. Back to Flat Stanley. So if I just touch on any of these dots, I see that real Flat Stanley that someone took with their webcam at that space. And I think we should see if there are any here. Nope. Wait, are there? There's one in Las Vegas. Here's the Elvis Flat Stanley. Not very exciting. So this idea of participating. Another one is Magic Piano, where you can actually play a duet with somebody. And that's Smule. And Smule, S-M-U-L-E, rhymes with mule, has sort of got the handle on social play, as in using the internet to connect people. I'm going to put my, allow this app to find my location. So who says a piano should be in a line? Well, if I want the traditional piano, I can do that. I can make it smaller, bigger. It's multi-touch, if I want, if I'm in a minor mood, right? Well, here's where it gets interesting. I go to a duet mode. It says it's connecting down in the corner. It's going out and it's looking for other people who are online right now playing with Magic Piano. And if it works, I can actually play a duet with somebody, a real human, not a computer. Not something fake, a real live human somewhere who's also bored, who's also playing Magic Piano. So we'll see if it can do that. And sometimes it works. It's a bit like fishing because you get different ideas, different people, and different levels of music. I'll play a little tune while we go here. It's kind of hard to do like that. And it has all the octaves, too. All right, so Ala Barman and I are now playing. They can hear this. It's like Morse code. I'm sending a signal out like a cricket chirp. And someone else is getting that. Isn't that amazing? So that's the concept. And I've actually been able, and I have a YouTube video of me playing a duet with somebody. And they were answering, and it was actually very cool. If I just go to the world, I can see people playing at different places. This is somebody in, what's that? Yes. It's good quality stuff, isn't it? Well, kind of talented. That's Magic Piano. And that's a concept that you really need to get your head around. It's powerful because all kids want to play with strangers. The other one is geocaching. Geocaching is an amazing idea. All right, let's go. I want to drive a bulldozer. So Cars in the Sandbox lets you do just that. Bobo Explores Light, you should try. Painting with Time and Tick Bait. Which should we look at? If you had to pick one. All right, let's look at Painting with Time. Painting with Time, I can try to tell you that there's two. There's painting, PWT, climate, and painting with time. I'm going to show you painting with time. Why? Because I can actually show you what I'd look like if I didn't shave. And that's 10 days. This is 20 days. And this is 30 days. Isn't that awesome? What else you want to look at? Here's a glacier retreats or some serious things. A messy room. And not only that, there's a slice option where you can see different parts and you can move the thing. So if I go back to incoming tide, did you say? I can just paint. Create your own. I forgot how to do that. Yeah, so I can see the different parts. Is that cool? So that's called painting with time, and that is the way that you can use this technology to take something that's really abstract, even formal operational, and you can start to use it and tweak it so that it becomes sort of concrete operational. And I think this needs to be studied. Don't you? I mean, I think this is a whole new vein of research that I'm hoping Chip will lead us through this, some of this, and some of the grad students that are here today. These are questions that need to be looked at. All right, let's continue, and we're moving along through our affordances because we got to get to the end, and that's make a mess. I want to know that I'm learning. Letter reflex is a really interesting line of apps that addresses learning challenges. And it's by Binary Labs. It's called Letter. See, I just have a couple apps on here. It's called Letter Reflex.
Hold your device flat before beginning.
So at this point now, it becomes a big marble maze.
Tilt to roll the ball to make the letter B. B. Excellent. Make the letter Q.
Sorry, I was doing a little rolling. I did it accidentally. I'm brilliant. Okay.
Make the letter Q.
How about a more active mode? Oh no, I do not want
to make the letter N. Make the letter D.
That's called letter reflex. Okay. I'm bored. I just want to do something. Spot the Dot, Rush Hour, Puffle Launch, Angry Birds. I did say Angry Birds. Yes, I did. I said it. And Cut the Rope. And if you've never played it, play it. And I want you to stop getting all uptight about it and start looking at it as what's the actual learning, right? Because these are experiences. Does anyone know about Temple Run? So my daughter somehow got into my iTunes account and downloaded Temple Run. She's 16. That got onto Chris Kroll, who's a kindergarten teacher, his iPad. So he's in the kindergarten, in the classroom, and Temple Run pops up. And Temple Run is really hard. 3 kindergartners got a hold of it. One decided to do the jump. The other decided to swipe left. The other swipe right. They self-assigned. They're in the corner doing Temple Run. It's a cooperative learning experience. And the lesson is, don't ever underestimate children, right? Tell me a story. There are some really exciting ones here that you need to know about. Another monster at the end of this book came up on every juror's list as one. It's done by Scroll Motion. Check out also Nosy Crow's Cinderella. If you're looking for a good night ebook, Nighty Night. You can put the animals to sleep one touch at a time. And it's very gentle. And these are the Bologna Ragazzi Award finalists. And La Forêt, you saw, is one of them. Another monster at the end of the book is another one. But you see that the U.S. is pretty well represented. Numberless is one. You should check it out. It's by Moonbot Studios. If you're familiar with Morris Lesmore, you should check it out. So 15? Excellent. Good. Ooh, let's look at Numberless. My wife thinks that I have attention deficit disorder. I don't see why she thinks that. So this is from Moonbot Studios. These are former Pixar animators. Does anyone know more about this than I do? Who wants to tell a story?
Well, yeah, a couple of Pixar people spinned off and created their first set of books. This is their second act that they.
Morris Lesmore, right? It's the first one. That was up for a Grammy.
Yeah, it's like a short movie actually.
And at first I thought,
Once upon a time, there was no alphabet, only numbers. Streets were called by their numbers, as were towns, countries, everything. Nobody had a name. They had a number. There were no Ralphs or Pamelas, just 27 or 6011. Everyone liked numbers. They had nice shapes and kept things.
so I'll just jump it forward a little bit here. Got the sense that there's a problem.
But there wasn't any color, or jelly beans, or pizza. Only 000267, which was thick and gray and gloopy, and zero.
So you're going, all right, what's the point with this? One of the things we looked for in the prize was easy ways to jump ahead. So I can jump ahead here. And this is the first app I've ever seen.
2 through 5 were losing momentum, so number 1 prepared.
Now I'm going to start getting active. But there's an intermission. And I don't know about you, but I could listen to this music all day. It's just insane. These people are insane. So there's an app with an intermission. Isn't this delightful? All right, after the intermission. Now I got to get serious. Got to get to work. All right, so
Quickly, we have to help Vaughn, said 4.
so I actually make the letters. So I'm tapping, and I got lucky. So I'm actually creating the letter. So I actually make every letter from the numbers, and that makes them happy.
Number 3, with his roly-poly waist, would rebound, rejiggle.
Oh, let's do this one. I'm going to make a... If I do it right, and I'm timing my touches here, I can actually get the letter B, which becomes the letter R. And they're pretty excited by it. And then this is our last one, and that is the letter W. I was showing.
They whirled until they wobbled.
Now I'm spinning. Yes! That's an important one for me because, yeah, I know. Because my name's Warren, and I made a W. So I'm real excited by that. So, okay, cool. All right, so we talked about Doodlecast. We talked about, we didn't really talk about Doodlecast. Draw and Tell is one that's new that you should probably know about, and then we'll make a mess and we'll take some questions. But let's go to the concept of Doodlecast is really important. So let me show you that real fast. This is from Zinc Row again. And you can tell that they worked with early childhood educators. So I was in Salt Lake City, and I was walking on the street, and I saw these things that I looked up, and they were pretty interesting. I'd never seen them before because I am from Michigan. We don't have them there. And so I was in Salt Lake City, and I was walking on the street, and I saw these things that I looked up, and they were pretty interesting. I'd never seen it before because I am... That's Doodlecast, and the other one is called Draw and Tell. And it's from Duck Duck Moose, and it just came out. And it takes a whole different approach to this that I haven't seen yet.
Welcome to Draw and Tell.
I like the ones where you can start with a blank piece of paper. I can just start scribbling. I can pull this up. I've never seen a stencil before. So here's a stencil. So I get the stencil idea. All these backgrounds, really nice non-commercial set of stickers that I can pull up and go. But here's the interesting part.
Record your voice. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, so I was drawing this thing, and I decided I needed a car. And this is my car right here. So it actually shows you what you're talking about. Or you can move the highlighter to the area of interest and then play it back. So I was drawing this thing, and I decided... So that's called Draw and Tell. All right. Last one. Making a mess. there's a bunch. One of the ones that you should all know about immediately is MadPad. It's by Smule, S-M-U-L-E. MadPad lets you go around and grab snips of sound and turn it into a sort of a turntable for jams. Makes you a DJ. Also, Toca Hair Salon and all the Toca Boca titles are something you should know about and use carefully, use with care. But it's a fascinating app, and I can't think of a better last app to show you than Toca Hair. So let's do that. I'll just type the word Toca and you'll see all their apps come up if you want to take a snapshot. The best one is Tea Party, probably, because it's huddleware, Toca Tea Party. And if I was stuck on a desert island, I'd probably get that one. Toca Hair Salon, though, is quite special. Why? Because, again, I want to drive a bulldozer. I want to have some clippers. I want to do any haircut I want. So I go into the hair salon. Who should I give a haircut to? Which is the dog? That's the dog. All right. So every touch is a thing. That's a cool looking dog now. Now we're getting someplace. Oh, and I can grow the hair back if I make a mistake. Do a shave and all that. Toca gives you all of these tools and just lets you fool around with them. So playful, accidental success. Toca Boca. And it's a word that translated into means nothing. Which I like because... All right, so boy, so many apps, so little time. Review. These affordances have just opened up. They didn't exist before. So again, it's up to us to use it. I hope that you're a little bit smarter and you're starting to think about this. I'd like to know if I forgot any, if you could send me an email, because this is an area that's evolving, and I think we all need to help each other out. As you see something, you say, that's an affordance, or that's a new pipeline that never before existed. So do we have time for one question or two? Okay, let's open it up. And thank you for your patience and all your sitting. I know that's hard. Now would be the time to clap. Okay. Again, this is it's hard to keep up with this, and it's what you're seeing is a little bit of therapy to try to get my head around this space. So. And I'd love to show you more apps. I have just a few.
It'd be nice if you could make available your list of apps that you're sharing with your kindergarten teacher.
You know, and it'd be great if we could all be synced in, and that's the idea of what we decided to do is we want to sync 5 trainers so that every app I download, they get on theirs, we get instant feedback, and then we expand it out, which is something to think about, Chip. The other thing is Children's Technology Review. That's what we do. So we'd sure just hate it if you subscribed so I could put my kids through college. Michael?
Are you getting any feedback from the kindergarten teachers that you're supplying all the apps to?
Oh, yes, every day. Like Numberless, I found Numberless because he came in and said, have you seen Numberless? He always talks really fast. He's from New Jersey. And I said, Chris, no, what is it? Check this out. The Russian accent is tacky and ridiculous because he's a teacher. But you can turn it off, by the way, if you were offended by that. And check out how I can make this, and yeah. So the feedback from teachers is critical in this process.
So you reviewed a lot of apps that have already come out. Well, what's some of your ideas about the future and where all this is going?
Which is why I did this, because I want us to understand the affordances in that way, like augmented reality. It's a concept. It's a new pipeline. And I want you guys to start thinking about how can I use that. And that's why I showed the foam fighters. It's like a whole new thing. But you can also make dust very quickly. As you guys showed, where are you guys? The app that just was really poorly designed, and it was not because the people they aren't tuned into where kids are. So yeah, there's a lot of apps, and I'd kind of like to, I'm hoping that this technology can sort of flip the whole education system upside down and put more power in the hands of teachers. The materials exist now. So another thing that I didn't mention is professional development. There are 400 master's degrees on YouTube right now that you can watch. If you want to learn how to make an app, you can go into iBooks and you can watch the course at Stanford. It's all up there with the notes, with the lectures of the teacher. So using this technology to help yourself learn is another thing that's just so powerful and could change our field.
We don't have time for more questions, but let's thank Dr. Warren Buckleitner.
Thank you so much.